Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to the news at noon right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. After 2 years of protest from citizens for full liability insurance coverage from ExxonMobil in the unfortunate event of an oil spill in the country's waters, Vice President Jagdeo has finally come on record to assure that his administration is now working with the parent company to secure such guarantee. Since the start of its oil operations in December of 2019, ExxonMobil has evaded demands to provide insurance coverage and instead tied its subsidiary, Esso, to providing this guarantee. In other news, since the introduction of Guyana's local content legislation, Trinidad commentators across the private sector have issued several statements challenging the document and its compliance with CARICOM's revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. They believe it ought to be reviewed for grounds of compliance since the law could slow down the pace at which they can spread their tentacles in Guyana's oil sector. Vice President Jagdeo categorically stated that Guyana will not back down on its local conduct law, which protects the right of Guyanese to first access to opportunities in their oil sector. In fact, he said foreigners will not be allowed to bully Guyanese. And now let's tell you, a mixed 12-member jury on Friday found accused Tocqueville serial rapist, 38-year-old Thurston Semple, guilty of battering and raping a Venezuelan sex worker. Semple, a taxi driver of Tocqueville Terrace, Georgetown, was committed to stand trial in the High Court for that offense last April. He denied the charge, which stated that between February 24th and February 25th, 2021, he engaged in sexual penetration with a 30-year-old Venezuelan woman without her consent. The latter charge stated that on the same day and at the same location, he caused the said woman actual bodily harm. And moving on, renowned economist Professor Clive Thomas issued a strong warning to Guyana's authorities to make the best of the country's oil and gas resources, now and as quickly as possible, as the time for exploiting and growing wealthy of the commodity will soon come to an end. Dr. Thomas pointed out that what is most significant for the Guyanese people to understand is that if they are to alleviate many of their economic problems, particularly poverty through oil and gas wealth, they must do so now as the time the world needs to transition to clean energy is nearing. In other news, following his meeting with visiting United States Deputy Assistant Secretary for Caribbean Affairs and Haiti, Barbara Feinstein, yesterday, Vice President Jagdeo said the U.S. has assured that the Guyana border controversy will not be a part of any discussion it holds with Venezuela. The Vice President stated that the U.S. has agreed to share information with Guyana about what takes place in those meetings. It would have the neighboring country in the future. And now let's tell you, the Environmental Assessment Board, an arm of the EPA, is set to host a public consultation in the new week on the impacts of the new Demerara River Bridge. However, former Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson holds the view that a consultation without a design for consideration is equivalent to building a house without any foundation. Patterson said a design of the structure would determine the noise, traffic, and other key impacts the project will have on nearby residents. And moving on, several agencies attached to the Ministry of Agriculture signed 32 contracts yesterday, totaling some $2.1 billion for the construction and rehabilitation of several pump stations and drainage structures, the procurement of critical machinery, and the maintenance of several canals across the country. And now for a COVID-19 update, with the country's COVID-19 death toll at 1,226 since March 16th, the Ministry of Health yesterday revealed that one person was admitted into the ICU. 5 new cases were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 63,194. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Enjoy free premium access to D-Music from March 25th to 31st. Discover 60 million local and international songs. Get playlists specially made to match your flavor. You can even download your favorite songs and albums. Plus, enjoy Coffee and Shensia's new albums fresh out the studio with free 2 gigabytes of data for D-Music every day. From March 25th to 31st, listen anywhere, anytime. So, what are you waiting for? Download D-Music now.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Fellow citizen, Yellowtail Lefort project can bring about a change that all Guyanese can have a brand new car and a house at the very least in the first few years of this project. But do the leaders care for you enough to do it for us? Brothers and sisters, as the owners of this massive oil wealth, you people are too silent while the foreigners, along with your leaders, are getting richer by the day with your oil. Both governments continue to issue permits from one oil project to another without correcting this highway robbery committed against this nation. Permits for Liza 1, 2, and 3 were given on a platter for the oil companies to continue their thievery of our wealth. Time is running out for the audit of $20 billion from those 3 projects. Brothers and sisters, instead of Vice President Jagdeo focusing on doing the audit that can save Guyana billions of dollars, Jagdeo is running full speed ahead to approve another $10 billion oil project. My fellow Guyanese, Vice President Jagdeo can put a hold on this project and get so much more that Guyana can become the Caribbean Dubai overnight. He can stop Guyana from paying billions in exploration costs now. He can install the ring fencing provision now to save Guyana billions of dollars. He can demand that ExxonMobil and all the oil companies pay their rightful taxes. There you go again. Guyana can save billions in American dollars. He should ensure the decommissioning fund be held by Guyana, in Guyana, and not by ExxonMobil. He can demand higher penalties for that flaring that is going on. Bharat Jagdeo, brothers and sisters, can remove all that high interest rates taken on loans by the oil companies to which me and you have to repay through our oil. He can remove that 2-year time limit Exxon set to check their books and bills right away with this Ford project. He should refuse to grant a permit for this fourth yellowtail project, uncle, until full cover insurance is secure to protect Guyana and the region at large. Mr. Jagdeo should not even think about approving this fourth project without a renegotiation of that Exxon contract, so that Guyana gets no less than what the rest of the world is getting. Is that too much to ask for, my fellow Guyanese? Don't we deserve a better life with this massive oil bonanza? Yes, we do. That contract, brothers and sisters, provides for renegotiation, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. With only those few changes, Guyana and its citizens can really enjoy the life of an oil-producing country. I urge you, all my brothers and sisters, to call on President Ali and Vice President Jagdeo to do the right thing for you and your children's future. God bless you all. This is a message from Glenlal.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Remember the Chinese in Matthews Ridge?
Yes.
Yeah, man, you guys got to remember that.
Yes.
Fetching away our minerals.
Yes.
Well, that same manganese. That same manganese what we got to import to filter we water. The Chinese are fetch out. They will fetch out that, plus your gold, your uranium, your diamond, and your gold at Matthews Ridge. Government could have only find 7% to pay all them public servants. And out of that, the people still got to pay the taxes. Well, here this one. The tax money where the public servants got to pay out of them 7% increase is being used to pay a local company to maintain the Port Kaieteur and Matthews Ridge roadway. Hear that? You gotta hear it, man. You know who blocking up the roads?
Chinese.
The same Chinese were doing gold, diamond, and manganese. Their heavy-duty trucks and equipment blocking it up. You see how to do business?
Yes.
That's how we do business in this land. Whose interest these people looking out for? The residents of Matthews Ridge and Port Kaieteur?
Nope.
Or the Chinese? Yeah, man, your government. Your government give them duty-free trucks. Give them your land free. And them blocking up your roadway. And you have to take your tax dollars to fix it back. This is a beautiful country. Eh? I love it. On top of all of this, the Chinese operations has contaminated the residents' drinking water at Matthews Ridge. The residents used to be getting fresh, clean water from natural reservoirs they have in and around the neighborhood.
Yep.
Guess what happened, Miss Harris? The Chinese operations messed up all the reservoirs in the area.
Of course.
So now GWI is putting 2 wells, 2 water wells. When you hear stories like this, I ask myself many times, who on earth? And why would somebody with an ounce of brain in the head allow foreigners or strangers to walk in their country, broke up people's infrastructure, endanger their citizens' lives, take away their bread from their mouth, Now, giving them nasty, stinking water to drink. And everybody in this land quiet. You see? This is how these clowns running we country. This is how these clowns running business in this land. I told you guys how much a water well this costs the private man to drill. I have a few friends who drill water wells around their business places. And I think I want to drill one at Kaieteur News myself because of the water bill I am paying. So if I do drill one, I will not have to pay them high water bills they're sending at Kaieteur News. Guys, you want to hear how much I've drilled one of them well, man? 1 million. 1 million. 1.2 or 1.3 million. I got a friend put on one. 768 feet. Guess how much he paid? Less than $2 million. Yeah. $2 million, less than $2 million, buddy. That's what they said. How much you government paying? No. You're paying from 40 million to 80 million to 100 million to $140 million for one. I am told that GWI is not only drilling 2 wells at Matthews Ridge, but they are drilling water wells all over in the interior too. I asked one of my reporters to get the cost from the CEO, Sheikh Baksh. And I bet you don't want to know the cost, not only for the well, but the pipes GWI has used. Man, all that I got to check on, and I'll be reporting back on you people. Uncle and auntie, the money these agencies does be spending when the year come to fix, to renovate, to put in a couple wells here and there, if you total those monies, the entire Guyana can have clean drinking water from wells in every village across this country for 10 lifetimes. 10 lifetimes. GPL Basman, a man named Bharat Dindial, today in the Kaieteur News, say he can't guarantee no blackouts for the Christmas season. Another government agency, you know. This is another government agency that spends money like how water run in the ocean with no remedy to end the woes of the citizens of this country. This has been a sickness, GPL. It has been a never-ending, stinking sore on our souls. I wish the people who in charge and who are run these operations. Man, let me move on. Let me do say nothing. Electricity, uncle. One doesn't need a fancy degree to fix it or get it right. What has been happening in this country with blackouts, year go, year come, can be fixed in a jiffy of a time. Let Glenlal take over that, and I would fix it within a few months, and you would never have another issue. But, like I told you guys before, all these government agencies, you name them, GWI, GPL, every major and important state agencies and corporations, most of them too, GWI and GPL, that brings in money has turned into milking cows for these leaders. For these leaders we have in this land. they're dead. Man, they milk these things and they spend money. If you total them, buddy, you run crazy. Yes. Auntie, let me repeat. They are not being run in the best interests of the citizens of this country. These people have no shame whatsoever. None whatsoever. It's not being run for me and you. I told you guys a while back, prior to the PNC, under Winston Brasington, and the same Baradindial stewardship of GPL, if you check the money them spend, billions of dollars every year on that institution, man, we could have already built an electric plant for the entire United States of America. But here we are in Guyana. The same place. They come with blackouts under a particular set of people. The coalition go in and change leadership. You never used to have blackout. And them never had to pump your tax dollars by the billions into GPL. A matter of fact, even before the coalition took office, uncle and auntie, listen this carefully. They had a majority in parliament. And in 2013, man, Bernard, you have to listen this carefully. PPP didn't have majority in parliament in 2013. The coalition had the majority. Yes. Right? And since in 2013, when PPP was in office, the coalition started to block the money they were pumping into GPL. 2013 alone, you hear me? Alone, they blocked $25 million US. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that figure. That figure, $25 million alone. You know how much 7% increase the money is? 5-7%. Yes, 5-7%. 5-7%. Man, 25 million alone, the black uncle in 2013 from going. What the PPP wanted to pump in GPL. 2014, the black. 2015, the black. Yeah, man. And the coalition go in power. As soon as they go in power, things turn around. They put no money into GPL. You had no blackouts. The workers used to get an increase every year. And uncle, you want to hear the best part? GPL was doing so well that they started paying back the debt they had on the organization. Isn't it time you said thanks to Mr. Granger, man? And everybody would have been running it. Huh? At least Guyanese people eyes open with that agency. People start to see that GPL can run and give stable electricity, and it can pay for itself. Yes, the little tax dollars what you guys paying out from your 7% for the promise are you? What you ain't get yet? Didn't have to disappear in thin air. Yeah, man. If they only stop pumping money in GPL. Upcoming 2020 election, the PPP win back government, take office, bring back Dindial, bring back Brasington, and the blackout begins all over again. And it's the same thing with the money affairs. They already start pumping more billions into it. Man, you gotta hear this one, man. This year, 2021, alone, Baradindial announced that come December, we did already in December, man, they would have spent $35 million American dollars more than they had budgeted to spend on GPL. You know, hear what I tell you there, man. You hear what I tell you there, man? 35 million US they don't spend for this year, more than what was budgeted on the GPL.
Where did they get it from?
Well, that's my point. That's my point. Where did they find 35 million US to spend on GPL? Can somebody tell us? Can Dindial tell us? Or President Ali tell us? Guys, 35 million is 5. Is 5. 7 5 35, man. Is 5-7% increase money them people find to pump into GPL. Pump them in the ear. Yes. And you still get a blackout. Yeah, man. That just appear from thin air into GPL. And these people can only find 1-7% for you. I only hope you guys following the money trail in this country. You got to keep your eyes on that. Yeah, man. With every single thing they do, don't lose track. 35 million US extra Dindial said them spend on GPL. Man, Bara Dindial should give us a complete breakdown on where, how, and what that extra 35 million was spent on. 5-7% increase money. What them give public servants? What could I give public servants? I think every single Guyanese need to know how these people spending this money, you know, man. Eh? I want to know. I would love to know. This nation love to know. How are you spending this money, man? This thing is getting overbearing. And nothing is changing in this land, uncle and auntie. This kind of money can't just keep disappearing into GPL like a black hole.
Exactly.
Not a blackout, you know. A black hole I'm talking about. Transparency. Transparency, uncle. Man, could you hold and let me get a water, please? Josh, could you hold? Let me get a water, please. Excuse me a moment, please. Oh my gosh, I gotta drink some water. I'm sorry about that, guys. My belly full with the water. Yeah, man. For too long, Josh, I told you people, these institutions are being used as milking cows. That same GWI that I just talked about is a milking cow. They have been using that all these years as milking cows. It uses a milking cow under Van West Charles too. Oh, you know, guys, it's 3 things you can't live without: water, light, and housing, especially when they're threatening you. Water bill go up, light bill gonna go up. And they're ready to cut. When they're ready to cut off your water and your light bill, man, you gotta pay. This is what they do. They threaten you. They do all type of things to make sure. And when they can't give you that, you don't mind how much money they spend because you want the water and you want the light. Yeah, man. This has been like a gangsterism going on in this country for all the years. It's bleeding you dry. Bleeding the little blood out of your body, auntie and uncle. That's what they're doing year go year come, man. Oh. And these guys have no shame whatsoever, man. They put out an ad 2 weeks ago and said they're ready to cut off people water if they don't pay the bill. And I am told you have to pay $7,500 to reconnect. Wow. And every jack man just taking this thing, man. Year go year come. Is how much more you have to sit down and take, man? Huh? You want to hear some more? Sunday, we carrying a story in which the same Baradin Dial announced how GPL would need 1.3 billion American dollars to get GPL ready to take off the electricity coming from the Chinese company, Amelia Valls, and the gas to shore. You hear that kind of money? I don't think you guys can wrap your head around that money, you know. 1.3 billion American dollars for fix the lines and to fix up this thing internally. That money, uncle, is equal to 267% increased money we're talking about for public servants. You don't hear me, Brian Max? You sleepy with me, man. Are you in the studio or not, man?
Yeah, right here, listen to you, man.
1.3 billion US is 267% money we're talking about. This government going and borrow to indebt this nation on.
Wow.
And can only find 1.7% for pay people in this country. Increase. People who can't even pay rent with the salary they carry home. Oh, and he said, how GPL getting this money? From government? He said government gonna borrow the money and some will come from private investors. You know, Ms. Harris, is another Ponzi scheme, another PPP, private public partnership arrangement. Where the private people money will be guaranteed. Just like the private people money guaranteed the Marriott Hotel and the Barbies Bridge. And how they going to guarantee the private people money from the gas to shore and the Amelia Hydro project is just that this money what they're going to borrow for fix up GPL. You hear me? Them money will be guaranteed. I go want to put little money inside there. You hear me? Because, yes, I go want to make a little profit too. But guess what? Them don't want me. They'd rather kick me out. Because I will holler every day on the radio. And some of you who have a little $20, guys, you guys can put in a little $20, man. I will make a little money because it's a Ponzi scheme to rob the country. So if you can get in there, you will get a little piece too. It's the same thing to do with the bridge. I explained that a million times. And the Marriott Hotel. And you see nobody answering? The Chinese thing and the gas ashore. And I forgot to tell you, the New Harbor Bridge. Another Ponzi scheme coming there. The Chinese company own it. Everything people own. Guyana doesn't own anything. Nothing. I got a little piece thing to tell you maybe Monday night on how they're doing another public-private partnership in agriculture. I'm going bring that tell you Monday. Let me go back to this 1.3 billion American money they're talking about for bill. That money doesn't have anything to do with the gas to shore project. That 1.3 billion, the Indial say, is to fix up the internal network to take off the power. Yes, when they're ready for bringing it here. I don't think you guys have a clue what that kind of money is. Uncle and auntie, half of that money can done blackout in Guyana in less than a year, and we will have no trouble whatsoever. We would not need Amelia Falls Hydro Project or gas to shore. All we need to do is have GPL as a standby. And you can also have Dean Dial and his team on standby collecting a stipend. Yeah, man. And you know how much money you can save? 137% increased money. That money can come and go to all the public servants and increase the money 130 times. Yeah, man, that's the kind of money you got to wrap around your head to understand what's going on. It's not 17%, you know. It's 137% we're talking about here. So you imagine, if that 5% they're giving you, you're getting $5,000 from it. Imagine 137%, how much you get. You'll get $650,000 every month. That's the kind of money we're talking about. Every public servant can get an increase on the salary. That's what these guys start telling people. But you see the kind of money they're calling? This is why Guyana has to be in debt all the time, man. The governments, both governments keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing.
Borrowing and stealing.
You understand? Yes. No, they're borrowing to steal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. If you guys think I'm talking about monopoly money, uncle, no. I am talking about real cash, Guyana dollars. Yes. It's the kind of games these people playing with your lives and your livelihoods. 1.3 billion American dollars. Borrow money with fat interest. They are to get from GPL. That is fixed. This is what they've been telling you guys. This is what I've been telling you guys. 30 years now. What has changed in GPL? Can somebody tell me? What has changed in the last 30 years of GPL?
Absolutely nothing.
And trust me, they're going to spend this money and nothing will change.
Yep.
You guys want to bet me? Anybody want to bet?
No.
You will continue to have blackouts for generations to come with these peoples we have as leaders. Guys, I need to shut down this country. This country should shut down for this alone.
Yep.
This is not wool over your eyes. This is pasting your eyes down with crazy glue and then duct tape your face to the bed. Yep. That's what the PPP and Bayard are doing to this country right now with GPL. I forget the chairman name. I'm not certain, but I think Gajarar is the chairman. I have to call him because I know him. I hope he'll give us some breakdown as to how that 35 million spend, US spend, and how they plan to deal with this one. The institution just the other day used to make money and pay all its bills. Suddenly them said them got to pump back billions into GPL. Jack Dale like the word, pump. Because he said pump, baby, pump. And drill, baby, drill. So all the public servants and the Guyanese people learn the word pump. And how for pump? Maybe it's like you're pumping like you never pumped before. And talking about milking cow, Brian, remember, I tell you all about the airport is a milking cow? Joshua, you remember?
Yes.
That will stay milking cow for the next 10 years. They will suck it and suck it and suck it till it can't suck no more. Yes. Till it can't suck no more. I told you guys, Azerbaijan built a brand new international airport with 2 runaways, not one. 5 times the size of ours. They spent $39.5 million US and took 8 months. And they start doing that from scratch. What we got? The Chinese renovating here. We airport. Renovating 8 years now. Not 8 months, 8 years.
8 years.
And I am not going to tell you the cost anymore, man. I'm done with that. But it started at 138 million American dollars. Every couple morning is a new contract. Today, we airport boss man, he named Gear, Ramesh Gear, telling us, well, of course it's not Ramesh Gear and Baradim Dial calling them money, just, This thing is coming from high up. You understand? These guys are just laymen working as CEO and running these operations.
Yep, front men.
They were just front men. So sometimes I don't blame these guys.
Many of them don't have any.
So Gear telling us, I want people like David Patterson and Tenegil, Barra Jagdeo, Harmon, and President Ali tell us this, but they not tell us.
No.
They might use the low-end people.
Yeah.
Just tell us. Here what Gear tell us that we need another terminal at the airport.
Another 100 million.
Another 100 million. That will be maybe another 100 million US dollar. Every couple morning for the last 5 years is a new contract they're putting out there to finish a brand new international airport. You hear that? We got a Chinese building a brand new international airport for us 8 years now in the done. They're not on us. But every couple months is a new contract being thrown out there to do new work on that brand new airport we're supposed to get with everything on board. My God. The Chinese get paid. The Chinese get paid to give us a brand new international airport with 8 bridges and all the amenities that come with an international airport. It ain't done yet. From the 138 million US, it run past 160. Gosh, when you think about these things, when you hear one Agile say, past 200 million, man, it's really sickening. It sick your soul. And then they have to put out more contracts telling you that they need a new terminal. That's another 10, 15, 7% increase what people could have get. As a matter of fact, Bernard, you know who they're building this new terminal for? The oil people then.
Of course, ExxonMobil. Who else?
Trust me, sir. Trust me. The money you're getting for the little oil, might that even do for put on the terminal for them? So it means all your wealth is only working to benefit and give these people a leeway, a runaway. Just because we're building roads and highways for them, we're building an airport for them. And guess what? We're borrowing.
That might be a special only them alone go to.
Man, when you think about this thing, we are borrowing money, Brian Max, to do these things for these people. And we can't tell we own people. We can't find a 5 million US to give them increase in the salary. Our own people working like dogs can't get a 7% increase.
No, it's teachers, police.
The GPL, uncle, you gotta hear this one, man. GPL, Bawadindial tell the workers in the same article that don't expect raise a salary. All these years, these people used to get raise a salary, All of a sudden, they can't get nothing. I was just told this afternoon that Troy Resources, an Australian company, was digging out with gold by the tons, laid off a few Guyanese, some of the Guyanese brothers, since September. And can't pay the people a man to now. Some of the workers said, when they approach Troy Resources for their money, the people tell them that they got to get approval from Australia to pay them. Man, you hear this thing, man? Huh? The Guyanese people, I work with the people in Australia. We people working with trial resources here in Guyana and have to get approval from the people in Australia for them to get their money, for them to authorize payment. Wait, man, this country is who country, man?
Foreigners.
Huh?
Foreigners. Not Guyanese for sure. Foreigners.
The minister of labor there, huh? Huh? What your name? Joseph Hamilton?
Yeah.
Man, when you listen to some of these people talk, I listened to him speak man, look, let me just forget that. You know, oh my gosh, I am sorry for this country. Then this is the same, it's the same thing. It's the same Chinese. The Chinese get we land for nothing. They get them for 1,000 Guyana dollar per acre, man. You know what I pay for them land in Nigeria? 1,000 Guyana dollar per acre. Per year, thank you. Per year. We actually facilitating these people, right? With our to fetch out our wealth. Yes. And if they do give you, they left something next to nothing for you. They pay a little royalty, what them want to declare, whenever they want to declare. This is Guyana. This is the land in which I was born in. And I love it. I love the leaders you got here too. Did I say Merry Christmas anytime for tonight?
No.
Not yet.
Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. And please don't forget, if you guys don't see me, know that I'm resting for the Christmas holidays. Hi, Miss Allen, did you hear drunk man plunge overboard and then?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Diana, do you
He's teaching some children to how to swim. And he plunged overboard and he never come up back. The children and told still they're waiting since yesterday at the trench to see if he could jump up back. Oh my. You notice I haven't said anything about oil, right? I didn't say anything about oil. The only thing I said about oil is that we are building a new terminal in the airport that will cost money more than what we get in from the oil. These clumps we have for leaders, they're using poor gear. And I saw another little story that I want to share with you people. 3 companies bid to supply vehicles for the labor ministry. Wait, it's the same Joseph Hamilton ministry. He buying vehicles for what? Oh, maybe buying 4x4 for going for checkman Troy resources. Man, when I see these stories, I just got a grin. And sometimes I gotta laugh and smile. Did you hear what I said just now, Joshua? 3 companies bid to supply vehicles to the labor ministry. 1 company bid 12, 1 bid 13, and 1 bid 16. I was looking to see how much we in-house engineers estimate what it be. Because, these guys just come up with some fancy figures. Sometimes only God knows where they just pluck them figures out. But I think it's vehicles, they don't put them out in that. And the tender board didn't say how many vehicles or what type of vehicles they're buying. But let's wait and see who will get it. 1 said 12, 1 said 13, and 1 said 16. In the same story, they got another bid out for temporary landfill for dump garbage. You hear me? Bernard, you didn't hear me, man. Like the Hags Wash, Eccles Hag Wash, they put out a tender for a new Hags Wash. But this one's on the East Coast.
And we up here field.
Wait, no man. You asking me all them hard question. One person bid for 50 million, one bid 52 million, one bid 55 million. But I didn't see this. Our engineer didn't say anything. I'm looking at these things, you know. I just got to look at all these things, you know.
How much extra ways going there?
Well, that is where I'm coming.
Okay.
They're building this other dump site because the exam filling up Eccles. So it's going to be easier for them to bring the supply boat not in the wharf anymore, to bring them straight to East Coast and dump them there. But Guyana is building that dump site. We money, right? No, we money. We borrowing money. We borrowing money to build everything, buddy.
What the course is money done?
No, the Isle money. That one different story. Monday I'll give a different story on that Isle money I got sitting there. Because people keep asking, Glenn, what about that money? I will tell you what happened, and I will tell you what Barajagil planned to do with the money. I will love what I have to tell you. You know, I come out my house this morning and I had to jump to get into my vehicle. The water was about 4 to 5 inches on the road. That's the road of Patterson said, me should be happy that they built for me. Little rainfall last night and the whole neighborhood underwater. All these billions, auntie and uncle, they keep huffing all over the place. Flooding should have never been in this country, man. Nowhere. This is another GPL. This is another GWI. This is another housing ministry. And another airport milking cow, they call it. These things are all cut and paste. The leaders jump up. From the time you get a little flooding and throw money. Yeah, man. Contract here and contract there. Yeah, man. This is what they do. All the years, what they do, they're just patching here and patching there. Fixing this little coca there and fixing that little coca there. They don't have a plan. They don't have no brain. Nothing in place to sit down and suss out and deal with this issue once and for all. Every rainy season is one thing after the other. One after the other. One after the other. And they're bleeding the country. You know, if a coca broke away, you got issues. You know? They spend billions. And this is what they keep going. It's like a pattern. It has been going like a yo-yo. This is the leaders we have. You know, I must tell y'all, man, under the PPP, this was the stinkiest city you had, called Georgetown. And you got to give David Granger a boost. He come in and clean it up. Down to the Lapantier Cemetery, the man clean up. All them cemetery around this town, the man clean up. When last year I'll pass and see what the Lapantier Cemetery look like now. Ali can sell forest carbon from right there at the cemetery with the amount of bush and trees done take over since them gone in power. Yeah, man. This is what is going on. Nothing, everything keeps regurgitating. Everything keeps going up and down, up and down. You know, like when the kids play the yo-yo? This is what is happening in this country. I am tired of it. And I have to take a break for my Christmas. Yesterday, Uncle and Auntie, the world observed Anti-Corruption Day. Kill corruption. Fight against it. Eradicate it. Destroy it, man. Get rid of the damn thing. It's not good for the world. It robs the majority of the people of every country of a good life. Corruption, that's what it does. Leaders all over the world does thief, man. I know that. Some does thief a little bit. Some does thief enough. some the thief without conscience. You know any one of them? You know any one of them?
We got a couple right
Huh? Well, we have leaders in Guyana. Give them a chance. Them thief. Not only all, the thief you too.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.